Good morning, everybody. 7 a.m. 9. I'm off by 1 minute. And coffee is ready. Thank you, Jackie. Oh, wait a minute. Thank you, Mom. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to invite up Mary, who is our inspirator. I'd like to welcome Mary back from vacation from Florida. Yeah, it's cold. Yes, it is.
Am I supposed to shake your hand?
Yep.
Whoa. No. March is a month where the earth flushes in the warm of spring, and our spirits bloom in harmony with nature.
Everybody please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I'm seeing you guests. I just want to say from Saturday, we had a wonderful Area 11 and 12 contest, and we'd like to congratulate Dave Licata for coming in second place in the international contest. And Maggie Craig came in first place in the Area 11 table topics, along with Phil Russell in second place. So let's give it up for everybody in the contest. Now the Division 8 contest has been moved from March 22nd to Saturday, March 29th. It's going to be at the Audubon Library in Amherst. March 29th, yep. I think it starts at 11 a.m. I'll double check on that, but it's going to be March 29th. Yes, we have, yep. And I will post all the details on my meeting recap. All right, are there any quick announcements before we begin? All right. Mike Lakai is our Toastmaster. Let's welcome up Mike.
Thank you, Mr. President. Real quick, folks, we have a couple of housekeeping changes this morning due to some late information. Mark Campos has kindly agreed to be the timer. That means Steve Smith will be the master and grammarian. And I also want to let everyone know that we do not have speaker one, Beth Banks. She texted me late last night that she's feeling unwell, so she will not be. So I only have two speakers. I did notify Les Robinson, our table topics person, this morning or late last night as well, to ask for more people to do table topics. So that's the housekeeping out of the way. When I found out I was being Toastmaster, I did struggle to find a topic. This is the time of year where the weather is slowly changing, but we're still staring at several feet of snow, and it is still cold when the sun goes down. So when it comes to March in the Northern Hemisphere, the meteorological beginning of spring occurs on the first day of March. March equinox on the 21st or 22nd day of the month marks the astronomical beginning of spring. So that's some of the information I found this month. And with that, I will introduce our word master this morning, Margot Bittner.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. So March is known for coming in like a lion and out like a lamb. And given the winter we've had and the winds we've had, I decided the word of the day is blustery. It's a time characterized by strong winds. However, an opinionated person who's spewing many, many words could also said to be blustery. So I will listen for bluster, blustery, and any other forms of the word you create that are grammatically correct. As you know, that's my thing. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Margot. And next I will introduce our master slash grammarian this morning, Steve Smith.
Thank you. Today I am the master and the grammarian, which means I'll be listening to any and all good and bad uses of the English language and any of these wonderful crutch words that we all use, and some that get invented. I'm listening for it all. Thank you.
And next I will call up Sylvia this morning is our jester.
Morning, everyone. I have just a couple. There isn't a lot with March, believe it or not. Why are oak trees so forgiving? Every March, they turn a new leaf over. What March flowers grow on faces? Tulips. When does pest control gets the post calls? Yeah, pest controls get the post calls when the ants are marching. And the last one, I know these are crazy. Which crime fighter likes March the most? Robin.
And next I will ask our quote master. I saw she's online, is Maggie Craig.
Good morning. But I, I'm going to think that I'm speaking but I look like I'm frozen on my screen. Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Toastmasters. I don't mean to bluster, but I think I will give you two quotes. The first is, she marched to the beat of her own drum, and in doing so, changed the rhythm of the world around her. And just one for fun. March is the month God created to show people who don't drink what a hangover is like. Garrison Keller. I'm sorry, the first quote that I gave was unknown, who actually said that originally. Have a good day.
Thank you, Maggie. And I will, excuse me, I will introduce our timer next this morning will be Mark Campos.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, good morning. My job as timer is to keep us on the straight and narrow time-wise. Table topics will be 1.5 to 2 minutes with a 15-second buffer. Today's speeches are 5 to 7 minutes with a 1-minute buffer. 30-second buffer, forgive me. And our evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes with a 30-second buffer. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mark. I'm not sure many people are online, so I'm going to make the executive decision because he never actually confirmed that we're not going to have a quiz master today because we need more slots open for table topics. Just so you can just cross off quiz master on your agendas this morning. Next, not to be forgotten, I will call up our Jill Roaring, who is our general evaluator this morning.
Good morning, everybody. Fellow Toastmasters. I guess we have no guests. My job is to evaluate the evaluators, which there's only 2 of them, so that will not be quite as hard. And to evaluate the general meeting, the way it goes, and Mike's performance. So thank you. I will report later on.
Thank you, Joe. And we will keep rolling right along on this unfortunately blustery morning because it's warmer, but the wind was out. And with that, I will turn the meeting over to Les Robinson, who is our table topics master. I saw him online this morning. Thank you for stepping up, Les.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, we're going to do table topics a little bit differently because very simple. We need to fill time. And actually, last Friday, I was at the Hibernian Guinness event, and I kind of was talking to Jackie, and Jackie, we got talking about grandchildren, and I said, "What a great table topic!" And I think that will be it. Now, blustery is the word of the day. So for everybody, we're going to take the table topic rules because we're going to throw them out today. Throw them out. And what I'm going to do is if you have a grandchild, you get to brag and talk about fun events, exciting events. So does anybody want to volunteer about how great their grandchild is? Or do I just start randomly changing the topic and talk about Doctor Who and we'll do 40 minutes of table topics? So does Phil want to go first?
Yes,
Okay, go for it, Phil.
Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmaster, just had a recent addition to the family 2 or 3 days ago. My daughter had a granddaughter, and she spells it Soibhan. Savan, an Irish name. Quite nice. Means the precious gift from God. And that joins her brother Seamus. Now, I wanted to just change the subject for just a moment. That meeting on Saturday was great. I would like to see more people, Toastmasters from AM, start getting involved in contests. The people that were there, you couldn't believe how many brand new members were actually doing their speeches, their table topics, and it was incredible. We have a lot of experienced people. I think it would give you a great opportunity to speak. Dave did a great job on his speech. I have something to tell you about my speech. I got DQ'd, disqualified, if you will. The reason was I used my speech and I used about the insidious effects of hurrying, and I used too much, way too much on the using that topic and stealing from other people. I gave them credit, so I was not plagiarizing. So in the future, if you're going to do a speech, it has to be original. I did it on purpose because I wanted to make a point. Dave actually did a great job, and so did Maggie. It was a good contest. I'd like to see more people from our organization get involved. Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Phil. Okay. Is there anybody at the Y that has a grandchild that would like to talk? Is that Dave Licata's hand I see up there?
Yes, Dave's available for table topics.
All right, Dave, come on up.
This moment of absolute bluster is brought to you by Licata Brothers Wholesale. Never mind. Much to my chagrin, I have found out that I have classmates that not only have grandchildren, they have great-grandchildren. They've been at this so long. And they got some of my classmates, I swear that they must have had their wedding dress on and their tuxedo on under their graduation gowns because they got married so soon after college. And they're the ones most likely to have not only grandchildren, but great-grandchildren. My dear friend, John Rosenberg, had 9 children. He's up to 21 grandchildren. they hadn't picked out a name for the newest one, so my wife and I sent a gift over with a card attached, nice big white card, and we just wrote 21 on it. So I've been pouting for ages because I don't have a grandchild. But this past Valentine's Day, my son and daughter-in-law came to the house with some important news. Those days are over. So with any luck at all, God willing, August, my drought is over. And they shared the sex with me. And I said, no, let's be cool and not give that away. But my daughter-in-law was on Facebook yesterday and she gave it away. So I'll tell you with all modesty, and the same thing I said, when Paul was born, I said, oh, great, I got a son. And then when Michael was coming, I'm in the delivery room and I said, listen, you jerk, I'm talking to myself. I said, if it's a girl, you got a lady doctor, you got 15 nurses, these are women, be respectful. So when Mikey came out, I said, ain't that boy? And this next one's a boy as well. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Dave Jones looks like he wants to be the next contestant on Let's Break About My Grandchildren.
Thank you, Mr. Table
You're
Topics.
welcome.
Matt. And good morning, fellow Toastmasters and no guest. I have two grandchildren, Rocky, and that is his real name, Rocky, because his dad is Italian and his grandfather and great grandfather from Italy were Italian. So I have Rocky, who is 11, and I have Isabella, who is 8. And those of us with grandkids most likely had our own kids previous to that, and we forgot what little kids were like. And the only thing I can remember about Rocky and Izzy is how blustery they are with their words. They have so many words that they use whenever they talk to you. It's just nonstop. It's almost annoying at times where I would roll my eyes because it's just word after word after word. But as they've grown older, Rocky at 11, he is at his school the class president. He also plays every sport. I know a lot of people think that parents shouldn't have their kids play every sport, and I stay out of their parenting uh, abilities, but the kids play every single sport. Rocky really likes football, especially since his dad is a college football coach. And same with Izzy. She plays every sport, even co-ed sports, basketball and soccer. So it's always nice. And I try to get to visit them at least once a quarter because they live way over in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And I try to go over there. And my daughter and son-in-law have a rule since they travel a lot. Phil probably knows in college football, you're always moving. So one of the 4 grandparents always visits and different times at different times of the year so that they always feel like they have family there. So at least once a month, one of the grandparents are at their house for a week or so. And that's a good way just to keep them stable as they do move around a lot. But those are my grandkids. Rocky and Isabella Amore is her middle name because she was supposed to be born on Valentine's Day, but she was born 2 days ago was her birthday. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
David, thank you. And let's see if we can get my. No, not going to work. Okay. Well, one thing I will say before I go to the next topic is my grandson, his name is Presley. His father is an inch taller than me, and my stepdaughter is like 5'10". So if this child is not above 6'6" or 6'8", and does not play basketball or golf, it's going to be very interesting. All right. Do we have any other volunteers? See Maggie raising her hand. Maggie, are you ready to go?
Maggie, we can't hear you.
You need to unmute, Maggie.
Maggie, you're still muted.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm on my phone, and when you touch the wrong button on the phone, it goes to edit and avatars and all that stuff. And I'm so sorry. But here I am, ready to brag about my baby Briar, little BMO. Some of you know, this is the love of a grandmother. I came to visit my granddaughter, my only granddaughter, my one and done granddaughter. When she was a year old in Toronto, we rented a house and we saw that little precious bundle, and I sang to her every day. And when we got on the plane to go back to Bellingham, Washington, I turned to my husband and said, "We're selling the house and we're moving back." And we did. And well, could never regret. I'm going to cry. I could never regret that. It was my dream home. We'd spent years building it, buying the property and developing it. So, but I said, this is a baby and that is a house. Best decision. But I want to share a little story. I would show you the video, but the kids now have these rules. You're not allowed to put anything on social media. And because this is going to be on your website, I can't show you. But this little girl's not even 2 years old, and she's playing with Play-Doh, putting a little nose on a face. And she says, "The nose is made of something called cartilage, which keeps a body safe." And the rest of the world was like, "What did she just say?" I mean, she have obviously heard it, but she repeated it. And I do have the video. I'm happy to show it because it doesn't sound like it could be real. Now, on the other hand, her other grandma, the intelligent grandma, is a doctor. So maybe she's got that in her future. She's smart. She's funny. What's a cat's favorite dessert? Mice cream. She said that at dinner the other night. We were out for dinner, and she just was so proud that she knew this little joke. She's 3. Yeah, I couldn't be happier to have my little Briar, and I'm so glad that I gave up working so that I could be grandma. And I'll turn it over to somebody else. I don't know if I made my time. I don't know if we're supposed to. I could keep talking. I could talk for days. Trust me. I just feel self-conscious talking about
All right.
that.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thing.
Is there anybody else that would like to talk about their grandchildren in the group or organization here today? Is Jackie here? Is Jackie Kennedy here today? Yes or no? Or if she is, can she come up and talk about? Thank you.
Here I am.
Cool.
Yes, I am a grandma. And for anyone who was in the club back when I became a grandmother, they'll probably remember that that was all I talked about for a while. I think it's the most wonderful position you can have, next to being a parent, of course. I did not have grandparents as a child. My mother's parents died both during her teenage years. And my father's parents kind of didn't have a whole lot to do with us because they didn't like the fact that we were Catholic instead of, I don't know, Methodist or whatever they were. But the point is, the honorary position of grandmother is one of the nicest ways you can spend your time. I've tried to be the best grandmother I could be, baking and cooking and making sure I know what all the favorite treats are and all the best places to go. Spent a lot of time enjoying my grandson. Now he's grown up. He's a blustery young man who's attending college and making his way in the world. He's had a couple of jobs through his early years and worked at Audible and done all kinds of computer things. Of course, he's a genius. That goes without saying. I think pretty much any grandmother would be happy to tell you what a genius their grandchild is. So I hope all of you get that opportunity at some point in your life to be a grandparent and enjoy all that life can bring you. Thank you.
Jackie, thank you. All right. Is there any more volunteers that want to talk about their grandchildren here today? That's my question. We've done 5 people. Mike, do we need anybody else to randomly pick, or are we good today? Let me know.
That's good, Les. Thank you very
All
much.
right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, I will give everyone a minute and we will call up Margot. How did Blustery do during table topics this morning? Margot.
Well, the challenge with blustering grandchildren is they don't match. And for those who want to know if I have grandchildren, I have 2 children who have been married for over 10 years each, and they have both informed me I will never be a grandmother. Yeah, such is life. At least they told me. Phil, I was amazed you did not use the word, although you were quite blustery. I heard Dave Licata use it. I heard David Jones use it. Maggie had used it earlier when she was quote master. Jackie, I'm not sure I heard you. I was listening carefully, but did you? That is my report.
I think Phil used it as well. And now, sorry. I will now turn it over to our timer, Mark. How did we do on time this morning?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. I am happy to report all of our contestants qualified, some with the assistance of the buffer. Phil at 207, Dave at 211, David Jones 156, Maggie right on the line 215, and Jackie at 157. And are we giving Maggie credit for table topics for blustery, or is she disqualified because she did not use it during her? Okay. Mr. Toastmaster.
Oh, yeah, we'll give it to her this morning. She's a newer member, so we're not going to be, we usually are hypercritical, but I'm not going to worry about it now. So with that, all 5 of our table topics participants qualified this morning. So Mark's working on the quiz or the poll online, and Mary will be around to collect the ballots here in person in just a minute. So, and I found it interesting in trying to find things about March that differentiate it, and I came up with the list of monthly celebrations. It's actually Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. It is Music in Our Schools Month. It is National Athletic Training Month. It's National Celery Month. Yes. National Professional Social Work Month. It's the Youth Art Month. And it is also the Irish American Heritage Month, to be sure. Because, of course. And it looks like Mary has collected all the ballots. And with that, I will introduce our evaluator. Evaluating Marty Johnson this morning is Phil Russell.
I will be a little more blustery, having something else on my mind. Let's start off with Marty is going to do something. His evaluation we want to do is on an introduction to vocal variety and body language. I want everyone out there, if you have any comments for Marty on helping him, what he can improve on, whatever, he would like to have that comments come back. You don't have to do it in writing. You don't have to do it any special way. But Marty would just like that. We talked earlier, and it's something that Marty wants to do. He is, let's see, he is what we're going to watch for the members' awareness of their intentional or unintentional movement and body language. Note distracting movements as well as movements that enhance the speech. Okay, the speech may also be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. It has to be well organized and on any topic. Vocal variety, body language. That's what we're looking for. Marty would appreciate any feedback that you might give him. Now, his topic 5 to 7 minutes, Mr. Timer. And the speech title Introduction to Cross Country Skiing. Marty Johnston.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Thank you, Mr. Evaluator, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. About 40 years ago, I was introduced to cross-country skiing when I was in SUNY Brockport. It happened to be someone that was involved in triathlons, and at that time I was involved in canoeing and a little bit of triathlon. I dabbled a little bit in triathlons, and a friend said, you know, a great way to keep in shape over the winter for running and cross-country or canoeing and different things like that is cross-country skiing, because you're using your legs and your arms, your lower and upper body, and it's great for your cardiovascular system. And this guy that I ended up renting from in my sophomore year of school gave me a set of boots, skis, and poles. Mind you, they were used, but I kept them, and I used them for probably 10 to 12 years, and they were great. I wore them out, and I'm so glad that I had that opportunity. And this morning, I'm going to share with you 3 main points or 3 main ideas to introduce someone to cross-country skiing. And the 3 main points are preparation, the technique, and the benefits. So I'm going to start with the preparation. On a day like today, you could still go cross-country skiing, and you probably wouldn't need to wear more than what I have on. And ideally, you don't want to wear cotton, either underwear or long john top. You want to wear something like wool or polypropylene so it absorbs and wicks away the moisture. So you want to prepare yourself with the right clothing. A hat would be good. Gloves, I like gloves that have fingers in them, and some people prefer just regular gloves. So you prepare yourself, and on a day like today, our fellow Toastmaster and someone else that turned me on to the cross-country skiing was Dave Licata out at Bond Lake, and he told me about the silicone spray. And the silicone spray you want to use to prevent, you want to put it on the tips and the tips and the tail of your ski to prevent the snow from building up, because otherwise you're going to get a clunker, and it's going to be like an upside down triangle on your ski, and you're going to be walking around. You're going to be walking around with clunks of snow in your ski. So that is something that you want to try to avoid, and the silicone spray is a good tool for that. So for the most part, it's common sense to prepare how you prepare yourself, but to prepare your ski, the skis in general, if you're first starting off, the skis, they're made in European countries most likely. So the gist of it is you take your height. So someone like me is 172 inches tall, 6 foot tall. So you subtract, actually you add 10 centimeters to that. You multiply 2.54 times 72 inches, and it comes up to 180 approximately. So that's how many centimeters your ski is going to be. And it's just a general figure. And then the poles, these poles are used for like skating. You've seen on the Olympics how they skate and your feet go side to side. But these I tend to use because I just prefer the longer ski. But ideally, you want a pole that fits comfortably under your armpits. That's a general measure. Am I correct, David? And you can see the handles on here. The handles on here are used so you don't drop the pole as you're going along. So every once in a while you might drop it and you have to turn around and go back and pick the darn thing up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now that we know a little bit about the preparation, I want to just attach the boot to the ski, and just general information, what's called the NN new Nordic norm. That's the equipment that they use now for the boot and the ski. There's a little metal tab on the boot and it fits into the tab on the ski. Now, when the ski's on the ground, I'm just going to hold it up for demonstration purposes. But when your foot is on the ground, you step into it and it attaches like so. Oh, and that's how the ski, when your foot is, the weight is on, it's going to be down like this. So that's how to prepare yourself with clothing and your equipment for cross-country skiing. The second main point I want to tell you about is the technique. The technique in cross-country skiing is similar to walking. You're walking along. Cross-country skiing is the same, and whenever I take someone, or Dave Licata took me, and we first went cross-country skiing, we just sort of walked with our skis on, so you get the feel of the ski. You get the feel of your ski going on the snow. And these little ridges on the bottom, these little fish scales on the bottom of the ski, these little ridges dig into the snow and give you a little traction, if you will. So if you can picture, you have both ski poles on and you're going forward. You go forward with this foot, and then you want to kick with your other foot, and it's the same. You're going like this. You're kicking with one, and it pushes you forward like this. And the poles are mainly used for balance, but it also helps you, like if your arm is out like this, you can ski up to it like this, and then with this other foot glides, and then you kick back with your opposite foot. So it's a kick and glide. One foot's kicking, one is gliding. And the easiest way to start off is to just walk along. And then once you get comfortable walking, you can work on the kick and glide. So that's the basic of cross-country skiing as far as the technique goes. And someone say, well, Marty, you've told us how to cross-country ski. How do I stop? You're taking me down this hill, which I wouldn't recommend. But the baskets on the poles are used to drag behind you to slow down. And I also found that if you cross the pole like so and hold it in front of your shin area and you go like this in emergency and drag it on the snow, that'll also help you stop. Now that you know a little bit about preparing yourself and your body and the technique for cross-country skiing, there are a couple main benefits I just briefly wanted to touch on. It's a great cardiovascular heart and lung exercise. It's great for family. It's great for your grandkids, speaking of grandkids. And on a blustery day like today, you could go cross-country skiing, but I would definitely recommend the silicone lubricant. Mr. Toastmaster of the day, Michael.
Thank you, Mark. That's fine. Those are my notes. It's all good. Thank you. No problem. Thank you, Marty. And next, I will bring up Sylvia, who is evaluating Marshall this morning. Sylvia.
Morning. This morning I have a pleasure of evaluating Marshall. He is working in the Visionary Communications Level 2 path. And today he's going to be talking about understanding your leadership style. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech. And the purpose of his speech is he's going to identify his style, and if he has to make adjustments, how he would do adjustments to suit his audience or the leadership that he is conducting. The speech title is The 3 Stages of Leadership. Marshall Song.
Dear Dear Toastmasters, I missed 1 month meetings during the Chinese New Year, and I really missed all of you. That holiday, I went to Xinjiang province for a road trip. It had a very extremely beginning. I drove an SUV across the desert and ate Muslim barbecues. But sadly, my grandpa passed away in my hometown, away from me 5,000 kilometers. So I had to go back for the funeral. I got along well with my grandpa, but most of my families disliked him because of his leadership style. He was a dictator in my family, and all the people must follow his order or he would lose temper. But my uncles and aunties, they didn't realize they have inherited my grandpa's leadership. They are all dictators. For example, during the funeral, they surrounded me 1 circle, 2 circles, and they were blustery. They scolded me. Marshall, you are totally a loser. 30 years old. You are still single. You know, your parents almost get depression because you haven't married. If you can't take a wife back, don't let us to see you again. Am I correct? They are absolutely dictators. Can you believe that? That's how Chinese family express their love. In traditional Chinese family, we never say 4 things. We never say thank you, never say sorry, never praise others, and never say I love you. Don't mention parents to children. My father has never said I love you to my mother. Chinese family believes beating you is a sign of affection. Cursing you is a sign of love. Come on, let me love you. So guess what was my first leadership style? Yes, you are right. I was also a dictator, even I wasn't so cruel like that. Our first leadership style is always from our family and inherited from someone. What changed me from my original family? That's Toastmasters. Please tell me the slogan of Toastmasters. Toastmaster, where leaders are made. Toastmaster has 4 values: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. So my second leadership style was servant. I wanted to serve the club. My first Toastmaster club only had 7 members. Our meetings only had about 5 attendees. People wanted to close down that club. After I became VPE, I organized every meeting and I delivered the speeches in every week. I also took VPM's, VPPR's job and took many roles at the meetings. After 6 months, our members became 12, and every meeting had about 15 attendees. But the problem was, every day I spent more than 4 hours to work for that club. I was too tired. After I left, it came back to original condition. After I became the club president, it turned to my third leadership style, director. I taught different officials like VPE, VPM, how to do their job. I give them to-do list. I taught the meeting manager how to organize a meeting. I taught the new people to try some new rule, how to say in the meetings. Yeah. Sometimes they don't to do because they don't know how to do. After 6 months, our club members became 22. We were from endangered club to be president distinguished club. So leadership is changing. If you didn't get a good leadership style in the beginning, that doesn't matter. Toastmaster will move it in a positive direction. Leaderships couldn't be perfect. They have different problems. I beg your help to improve my leadership in the future. Thank you. Go back to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Marshall. And I will call up our, well, we can give them our timer this morning. Mark, how did our speakers do on time?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, I am happy to report that both speakers qualified. Marty, kudos to you. Right on the line at 7:30. You never panicked with the red light and you still brought it in for a, unlike that landing in Toronto, you didn't come slamming down. You little smooth on the runway, and Marshall at 6:51. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mark. I will do some more. So both speakers qualified this morning, and I will let Mary collect the ballots. So when I decided on this topic, instead of just being all about 1 month, I decided to do some more research into our different kind of march, the one that bands perform, and that brought us to the famous John Philip Sousa. And he's actually a very interesting composer and conductor because he actually enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1868 as an apprentice, and he left the Marine Corps in 1875, which is very, very interesting because so many of his compositions were so memorable, but being part of the Marine Corps before he developed everything we know and love, like Semper Fidelis and the Stars and Stripes Forever, are some of the more interesting things. And with that, I will bring up our general evaluator this morning to call on our evaluators. I will call up Jill now, and she can call on our evaluators.
All right, our first evaluator today is Phil Russell, who will be evaluating Marty's speech. Phil, are you ready?
I am. Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters, and especially Marty, we talked about your speech before or texted each other. You have some great qualities, and there were some areas that we can, challenge ourselves to improve on. Storytelling. Your history was great. You did a great job on researching your topic. Your use of props were good. the body language, and vocal variety. You accomplished what you needed to do. Now, you started off, though, a little bit with the hand clapping and might want to work on that, but it improved right thereafter. One thing I'd like to see you do is practice on your speed. That improves the vocal variety, meaning pace yourself, put in some pauses, things of that nature. Organization. Some great information. I'm going to tell you something that is great information. You got anybody that wanted to start on cross country skiing, some good starting tips. Let's work on the organization so you can get it all in a timely fashion. Challenge yourself. Pacing, that goes back to where I was talking about speed. Pace yourself. As the timer pointed out, Mark said, you came right in. You were prepared to close and you did. That speech has so much information in it. It's incredible how much information it is because cross country skiing is not easy. First time I tried it, it was out in Aspen and my sister was teaching me, taking me out with some of her friends, and they were Weisenheimers, and all they wanted to do was see you fall. But it was fun because they took me into some great places. The amazing thing about cross country skiing is just the skiing itself and to be out with nature and commune with nature. You taught us that that is a great thing to do. Now, this is what I want you to work on. In a contest, you have to stay in parameters. I notice because I'm on Zoom that when you moved closer to the camera, you were out of sync. You need to set your boundaries so you don't get too far in or too far out. When you go to a contest, you need to pace off where you can be and where you can't be. So those are things that you can improve on. But I thought you gave a great topic and a lot of good information. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Phil. Now our second evaluator is Sylvia, who will be evaluating Marshall. Sylvia.
Marshall, thank you for your speech this morning. I loved it because it was humorous. It had family story to it. You started off with the family story. You drew us in. And how your family's leadership was, and it was funny, and the different cultures that you have there. It was well organized. And it was not the report that a lot of people do when they come up here. You know, they have A, this leadership, B, this leadership, C, this leadership. You blended your leadership paths into the speech. And for me, I had a little difficulty picking it up, but I liked it was not a report. I would say, ask you to just slow down a little bit more with some of the storytelling, because you are a great storyteller. And so being that you speak a different language, I was having a little difficulty picking up some words. And at the end, repeat the 3 styles. And I love that your club grew so much over the year from 5 to 22. You had great eye contact with the camera. You've been doing this a while with Zoom and you know how to work Zoom. The only thing I would ask you to challenge yourself, and I see that you were standing up, which was great because I think I even asked you one time to be standing instead of sitting, but you were moving around a little too much. So not unless you're doing a gesture, just try to keep standing in the middle. But other than that, I loved your speech. It was very humorous. That's what we need at 7 a.m. in the morning to get here. And I'm looking forward to your next speech.
Thank you, Sylvia. Can we have a timers report?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters. Once again, I am happy to report that both evaluators qualified. Phil with a little help from the buffer at 322 and Sylvia at 202. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mark. So the voting can happen. And Mary will be around with the bit to collect the ballots in a few moments. Next thing is I am supposed to evaluate the evaluators and the whole tone of the meeting. I'm going to give kudos to Mike. He sent out emails early, and several of them over the course of the past week, to remind us of the meeting. He had a theme of March, which was quite vague, but gave him lots to talk about, theoretically. Although not March yet, so if somebody in one of the 4 March meetings wanted to use March, he kind of stole it from them. Oh well. He talked about the celebrations of the month. And I was kind of taken aback by celery. I mean, chicken wings only get a day, but celery gets a whole month. You know? No justice, yes, that's what Sylvia just said. Yes. I'll call my congressman. Yeah. Obviously, the celery lobby is quite strong. Okay. Mike also addressed absences ahead of time. He wasn't calling for volunteers when the meeting started. He already had attacked anything that needed attacking. And then he announced the changes to the crowd so we can keep track on our agendas. Make changes as necessary. So that's for Mike. Excellent job, Mike. Yay. Now to the evaluators. Phil, you're an experienced evaluator, and it showed. You had the sandwich approach, although you modified it. You interspersed things throughout the whole thing, throughout your whole evaluation. You gave Marty a tremendous amount of information to improve upon, to congratulate himself for. You fit a lot in that 3 minutes. All in all, it was an excellent evaluation. Sylvia, again, use the sandwich approach. That's what we're taught to do. And despite the language differences, I mean, Marshall can be difficult to listen to, but at the same time, he had some good stuff in that speech today. It was interesting about the family relationships. And poor Marshall, he's 30 years old without a wife. No rush. That's what Marty says, no rush. Eric says he's 32 and still single, so there's still hope for you, Marshall. Otherwise, Sylvia did an excellent, like I said, she did an excellent sandwich approach. Gave Marshall things to improve and gave him congratulations on things that he did well. So there's my general evaluator part. So now I will start calling up our roll holders, which we only have 2 to report. Steve will be up with his Master and Grammarian report. So as he finds his way up here, we'll clap him in.
Thank you. Getting heckled already and I haven't opened my mouth yet. I think we're either getting better or bland. Today, I'd have to describe this as being somewhat vanilla. I didn't hear anything that grated against me that sounded that's bad. I didn't hear any great uses of the English language that jumped out at me. What? They were scared of me. Yeah, right. Anyway, so I'd have to say we did a pretty good job because there's nothing really bad there. As far as the report goes, I didn't catch any. I did hear, I'm not going to name names. I did hear some knows. That bothers me, but that is a crutch. Just as much as and on, But overall, I think we did a pretty good job. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Steve. And now Margot, how did blustery do throughout the meeting?
Thank you for using the word finally, Jill. Mike did use it. Mark Early used it. Les used it. Actually, and you also demonstrated quite well when you were speaking about celery having a whole month, but not chicken wings. That was a very excellent demonstration of how to be blustery. And that, quite frankly, is my entire report today. So have a good week. Please, as March comes on, use the word blustery or think about Winnie the Pooh and the blustery day. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Margot. And Winnie the Pooh had blustery, but it was windy. Today we got just plain wet and yeah. Eric says it's going to snow again this weekend, which is a big benefit of that is it will Steve doesn't want to hear it. The big benefit of the snow, if we get some, is it will cover up all the ick that has been exposed by the melting, because there is a especially large amount of it. I know down in Wilson, they did a bunch of winging way back, and there's a lot of dirt that got plowed up along the sides of the road, and that's staining the dirt, the snow, even worse than the stuff that's there. So I'm gonna let Eric and Mike come back up to do the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. So I want to congratulate, first of all, I want to thank everyone, Sylvia especially for stepping up to do 2 roles this morning. I want to thank Marshall for stepping in as a speaker this morning. I want to also let everyone know that Mike Florio is our Toastmaster next week.
No,
He changed it.
it's Marty.
Oh, Marty's the Toastmaster next week? Okay. I
Marty's
just checked it.
Toastmaster is me, Mark Campos for speaker, and Mike Florio, and Dave Latata is the alternate speaker.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this morning, our winners are for table topics. It is Jackie. And we have a tie for best evaluator this morning between Sylvia and so both evaluators, Sylvia and Phil both won this morning.
Okay.
And our best speaker this morning is Marshall. Congratulations to all of our winners.
Marshall will mail you out the ribbon.
The winning
Thank you. I will go to Buffalo get my ribbon in the future.
Our last 3 tickets, our last 3 numbers on the 50-50 ticket is 850. 850 is our winner. Mark one.
All right. Mark got the money. You thought it was Marty? All right. Thank you, Mike, for a wonderful meeting. Are there any final thoughts? Mark, thank you. Oh, he's cracking the whip today. Come on, David. Come on, David.
Saturday at the speech contest was quite remarkable because, as you mentioned, during the interviews, they would ask these people that were in the contestants and how long you've been a Toastmaster, and some were just a couple months, and they were in the speech contest. So I don't understand this allergy to the contest because you accelerate your progress so much. But the thing I couldn't help but notice, are we the only club that knows about guarding the lectern? They get done with it in a contest. They give a speech and just drift it off. And I'm sitting there going,
Here's the thing, though, there was no lectern at all.
yeah.
There was no lectern, period. It was just a little square table and.
I won't be here next week. I have to go to Washington, D.C. because the new press secretary described the lectern as a podium. So I'll have to go down there and straighten her out.
Marty, did you say you had something? Please come up. Yep, please come up. We have time. You have 25 minutes. Go ahead,
Thank
Marty.
you, Mr. President Eric, fellow members. Just a follow up. We have a couple new members that you know. Did someone catch that? You know, we have a couple new members that you know of, and that's Yang and Peggy. Yang and Peggy joined, and there was a woman that was here in the beginning of February. Her name was Valerie DiRenzo. She actually joined a different club because it fit her schedule better. And that she sent me an email, and she said that she was very gracious and felt very comfortable here and very welcomed. She wanted me to make sure I told everyone that. And then a couple other members, Zach Brado, everyone remembers Zach. He got promoted at work and he has to attend an executive committee meeting on Thursday mornings during our meeting time. He's not available currently. He may be back, however, but I feel that what he learned at Toastmasters must have helped him because that presentation, David. We're getting there. We still need a couple more members. We need it. I think we need at least 2 more. And the other members that we had in the past, I sent emails to them, that Katie Reese and Esther McMullen Vicara. I sent them emails, but I don't want to be a pest. So I'm just going to let it go. We planted the seed. They're here. They know where we are.
Marty,
Yes.
I am scheduled to speak in a couple of weeks. Perhaps one of our new members would like to take my spot and do an icebreaker. So if you want to reach out to them and see if they'd like to be on the schedule, just to get them more enthused in doing things. I mean, been there, done that for me. So I am more than happy to help a new member progress.
That's a great idea. We'll contact Mike. I'm going to turn the meeting. Thank you, Margot. I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Eric. Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely do that, Margot. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Marty. Another announcement, dues are due. We're getting into the month of March. You guys, I think we're all getting the emails from Beth. Okay. So March 31st is the deadline for the dues. So, and also too, I spoke with Jill DiTilio and Chris. We'll be in the works of setting a date for the DECA class to come in and do their final meeting. I should be getting a message sometime next week from Jill regarding the students coming back to do the Toastmasters meeting, and we look forward to having them here. And next week too is our open house. Please spread the word. We're doing an open. If you can, yes. All right. All right.
Eric? Eric?
Eric. Yes, Phil.
I am not going to be able to make it next week as timer.
Okay.
You'll need to get a new timer for next week. I will be out of the area.
Marty's the Toastmaster, so Marty's gonna make a note of that, Phil.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, so next week, if anybody can bring a guest, that'll be wonderful. And so with that, Dave, we're going to Olive Leaf.